No, I'm the victim, not you, me. That's how a lot of people sound to me. People seriously remind me of that South Park episode where everyone got a DNA test to see what percentage of victim they were. They also remind me of that frat guy on South Park that thought he was now cool because the fraternity was now being the ones that were being victimized and marginalized. You know, in my first video, I said I wasn't going to do a lot of serious stuff. I said it was mainly going to be about silly stories and topics about things that, in the grand scheme of things, don't affect me or anyone else and really don't matter. And even though my last few videos have negated that, I still mean it. This will probably be my last serious video for a while. The rest will follow the original formula of the first three. The video that I was going to bring you today was going to be about my feelings towards the phrase, "that's a waste of time." But instead, once again, I saw something on Facebook that I couldn't help but make a video on. Normally, I try to show images that are not Creative Commons, but I'm not making any money off of this, so what the fuck. This image isn't what bothered me. It was the comments left by men, and I use that term as loose as their grip on reality. You might have noticed that I'm not completely biased on everything. I try not to be a hypocrite, and I try to keep things fair. I kick guys in the dick for being as hard as nails on the outside but being soft as cottonelle on the inside, and I kick ladies in the vag when they become blind to their bullshit. With that being said, I think there's some legit points on both sides. But guys, I have to side with the ladies on this one. Let me give my little disclaimer here. That way, if you're going to hate me, it can be for the right reasons. I'm not an SJW. I'm not anti-red pill. I agree with a lot of what they say when it comes to marriage and divorce and fraternity courts and everything else like that. And I'm not an extreme leftist. To prove it, I'm going to extend an olive branch here. Let me discuss the comments that I agree with and why. This way, I can understand you through your tears when you try to tell me how badass you are. One fine gentleman stated that, "I'm a man, and I don't feel safe at night in town either. Anyone could come up to me and rob me." Yes, they could, but raping you is very unlikely. He went on to say that if women want to feel safe, they should start carrying protection. And I agree with that to an extent. A YouTuber I watch on here by the name of Kalia Noir said this: "The government isn't responsible for your safety. We are. You can't legislate evil." And to that I add, if making laws was 100% effective, we'd have no crime. So, ladies, even if all men disappeared, you're fooling yourself if you think you wouldn't need to walk around with protection. It might not be protection needed to prevent rape, but there's still evil women out there all the same. At any rate, to this same guy, I say, hey, if you want to feel safe, why don't you follow your own advice and carry protection? Right? Okay, he's the only guy I somewhat agreed with. The rest were, not all men are the same. They never said you were. Do you have a guilty conscience or something? Have you seriously watched so much Red Pill and MGTOW that you're so damn brainwashed into thinking that not only are you the victim, but that every time a woman talks about a time she was abused or sexually assaulted or her fears of going out at night alone, that you need to make it about you and remind her and everyone else that women are evil too and not all guys are like that? If so, you remind me of a comment a woman left that, at first, I wanted to dismantle, but now I see she had a valid point. She said, "I'm terrified of my kids, brothers, and nephews seeing stuff like this and thinking that just because they're men, they're being lumped in with these same type of men." And I thought to myself, only a fucking idiot wouldn't have enough common sense and decency to use critical thinking and perspective to objectify themselves from this and all the other things they see online. Then I read the comments. Seriously, how thin is your skin? How soft are you? How deep is your brainwashing? And how much of a guilty conscience do you have to read something like this and feel attacked and like you must defend yourself and your gender? I said a moment ago, and I'll say it again. Ladies, even if we were all gone, there'd still be evil women with guns. And don't even think there's no female lesbian rapists out there. There are. And now that I'm thinking about it, that problem might get worse. You know how guys in prison fuck other guys because there's no pussy? I think you know where I'm going with this. However, Gentlemen, they never said all men, but all it takes is for some. That's enough to cause concern. Think of that concern and everything they said, whether they painted us off the same brush or not, as a safety precaution, much like them carrying weapons for protection. Which leads me to ask, if you're offended by the post and think not all men are the same, why even suggest them carrying protection? They should have nothing to worry about, right? Why do you want them to drop their guard and not be paranoid around you anyway, creep? I think it's a good thing that women look at men objectively. You know, what with them being the weaker sex and all. I'm a man and I look at everyone objectively. All of you can think of at least one woman in your life you wouldn't want walking out at night, especially without protection, and it wouldn't take long for me to guess why. And to the stupid bitch that said, I do all this anyway, nothing's ever happened to me, age 35. Okay, when I was in my teen years, I went out for late night walks all the time, and I'm still alive. You and I got lucky, and we don't even know it. You're like the person that smokes up into their 40s and 50s, and they're like, nothing's happened to my health yet. It hasn't happened yet. Give it time. And that's not even guaranteed. I've known smokers that made it up to in their hundreds. Ever heard of the phrase, that's the exception, not the rule? So, fellas, sorry, siding with the ladies here, because you don't have to arm yourself or walk with a buddy, at least not for the same reasons they do. Rape isn't as prevalent for you as it is for them. So stop saying, not all men are alike, and that they've watched too much Lifetime. No, they haven't, and they know that. Men who aren't rapists that saw the post also know. The only one you're speaking up for is you, which makes me wonder why. Hope every woman that read your comment stays 50 feet away from you at all times, as if they didn't already.